Howdy, this is Ethelred, the worst Civ player on YouTube, and I want to be a little less of the worst Civ player on YouTube. So, having just lost the Babylonian series, I went back and I took a look at it, and I've tried to learn some strategic lessons from it. And that's what I'm going to go over in this quick episode. Not tactical mistakes, such as I brought a musketman around a lake when I should have brought him around on the other side, or something like that. Or I did a certain tile improvement here when I should have done another kind of tile improvement, which are all very valid, and I want to get better at every single tactical decision I make. But this particular recording is going to be about the strategic mistakes, the big things that I screwed up. And I think I actually did pretty well for the first, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes. The first mistake I made was that I didn't settle a fourth city. I found myself throughout the entire game constrained on what I could build. I wanted to do, 4 things at once rather than 3, basically is what it boils down to. And I had gone with 3 cities. I thought tradition could do fine with 3 cities. Probably you can do tradition fine with 3 cities, especially if you're doing like a cultural or a scientific victory. But for the domination win, I just felt like I was a little constrained. And I think that if I do tradition again for a domination victory, I'm going to build 4 cities. So the next mistake I made was after I took the Persian capital of Persepolis, I made peace with Persia and I never looked back. Never is not the right word, but it was thousands of years before I came back and actually dealt Persia the killing blow. And that was a major mistake, because time and time again Persia kept coming back up out of the blue and attacking Persepolis, trying to recapture their capital. And it wasn't until right at the end of the game where I said, fine, I'm done with you guys, I'm going to take Pasargadae. I took that city. It was a major industrial city for them, and they were done. That was the end of Persia. I should have done that way back when I first took Persepolis. So what I did was I left an enemy wounded, but not mortally wounded. So that was my second major strategic mistake. The third major strategic mistake was when I attacked Greece over a marsh and around a lake. I thought that would be a good approach. As we saw in the episodes, that was a slaughter. I lost a lot of units there. It was a really ugly battle, and I never want to have a battle like that again. So I need to be more mindful about the terrain. What I looked at when I was planning my attack is, where are the hills? Where's the jungles? Where's the forests? I don't want to move an army through hills, jungles, and forests, because I knew what that would mean. But my eyes didn't see the marsh, and it also didn't take into account the importance of a single lake tile, which in that case was Lake Victoria. One lake tile next to a city, it turns out, is a massive defensive bonus for that city. So I had a lot of problems with that, and next time, not only will I avoid hills, forests, and jungles, I'm also going to avoid marshes, and I'm going to try to avoid lakes. So that was another mistake. The next one I want to mention is the Greek city that was in between Athens and the main part of my empire. I always had to go around this city. I spent tons and tons and tons and tons of turns sending my troops out of the way of this, whoever owned the city at the moment. Sometimes it was Ethiopians, I think. Sometimes it was the Greeks. I don't know. It went back and forth in its hands. I should have just taken that city, because what I did was I kind of divided my empire in two with this Greek city in between. And that caused me all kinds of logistical problems. So next time I'm going wide in a domination, I need to make sure that I don't split my empire into an east and a west. I thought it would be clever for me to come down from the north on Greece. It wasn't. I should have just gone east right out of my empire and moved through Greece just like that. So cutting your empire up by skipping a city is a bad idea. And then I think the campaign against France went pretty well. Although right about this time, I felt like I became in general kinda sloppy with my tile improvements, my micromanaging of individual population in cities. I could have done a better job there. That particular aspect of my game went downhill for the rest, and it just went into the mud. I mean, at the end, I was huge negative gold, huge negative science. I didn't think it mattered because I thought the game would be over any minute. As it turns out, it went on for almost an hour and a half. And had I played every turn like I did the first 7 or so episodes, I would have won that game. Going sloppy at the end, thinking, well, I only have 5 minutes left, and it turns out to be an hour and a half, that lost me the game. Because if I'd stuck with it with the same careful determination that I had up front, then I would have been able to build all those factories and all those spaceship factories and everything that I was building at literally in the real last 5 minutes. I could have done that an hour and a half earlier. And the last thing I want to mention, the real killer here, was that I went after Ethiopia when I had no hope of a domination win. After I was done with Paris, if I'd assessed the situation at all, and this is something I'm going to have to do again from time to time, is, when I make a step towards, when I'm at an inflection point, I need to think, did the victory condition which I came into this game with, does that still make sense? And I never did that. I had my blinders on all the way up until the last day. I want to tell you, this series, it lasted a month of real time. I had blinders on the entire time. I sat down at this game every single night thinking, I'm going to go take another capital. It's going to be a domination win. That's what I said in the beginning. That's what I said. Turn 1 is going to be a domination win. By golly, I never thought about it. It was going to be a domination win. So, next time I need to, at inflection points, think, my original victory condition, does it still make sense? And if it doesn't, I need to change tracks to the next victory condition which makes sense. If I'd paddled down to the science victory, it would have been no problem for me. Until I gave up science towards the end, the last hour and a half or so, until I gave up science, I was a tech leader. So I could have just built my spaceship and launched. The rest of those civs, they had spaceships they never launched. I could have easily built a spaceship and launched. This could have been a win. So, those are the lessons that I took away from this. That's what I'm going to know going into the next episode. So, we're going to do not a repeat. We're never going to repeat this. But some of the game settings are going to be the same on the next one. I'm going to stick to Emperor. I obviously am not ready for Immortal yet, so I'm going to stick to Emperor. There are going to be some things more difficult about the next game. It's going to be a continents map, not a Pangea. So it's that saying, like, determination to always go for the next biggest fight, even though I'm not winning fights right now, and that's more like Vegeta and not like Goku. All right, so thank you very much for listening. I hope that this 9 or 10 minute episode that I've put together here helps somebody. I can tell you that it has helped me, so I hope it helps you. Have a good day.